Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on David's Saturday Night Sit Back, a podcast where my guests and I tell our personal stories with the hope that by the end of the episode, that internal fire in your gut feels like it's burning a little bit brighter. I'm grateful you're here because over 90% of my guests have never taken a guest spot on a podcast before, so I am building a collection of stories for you that can't be heard or watched anywhere else. Today on the podcast, I have Earnesia Williams, aka Earnie Williams, aka Coach Earnie, aka Coach E, aka Skoobie, joining me in the studio. Earnie holds so many titles, but for the purposes of introducing her, she was a collegiate athlete when she was at the University of Texas on the Lady Longhorns basketball team, serving as co-captain for 3 years. She is the first professional athlete in her family, was highly recruited when in college, and is a McDonald's All-American. Following her NCAA career, she embarked on an 8-year professional journey that took her across 3 continents, competing in top leagues in Portugal, Spain, Ecuador, China, France, Sweden, and Romania. She's worked as a mentor and counselor, camp coach, personal trainer. She's worked in tech sales, operations, and IT. Back in 2022, she launched the podcast Stats to Assets, where Skoobie's mission is to empower others to achieve financial freedom by monetizing their brand or expertise. More recently, Earnie's taken on the title of a dance business coach so she can help traveling dance instructors earn up to $10,000 a month online. During today's conversation, if at any point you want to reach out to her about anything we're discussing, her links will be in the show notes, so go ahead and just scroll down a little bit. Ernie, thank you for who you are. Thank you for being here, and welcome to your episode on David's Saturday Night Sit Back.
Yes, thank you for the introduction and the invitation. This is cool.
You're welcome. Was that all pretty accurate?
That was good.
Okay,
yeah, that was
awesome.
Amazing.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
What's the origin story of the nickname Skoobie? Where did this come from?
Listen, this is fun. This is it's new. So I just started dancing myself, just socially, 2.5 years ago. And Scooby-Doo, first of all, Scooby-Doo is my favorite cartoon of all time, right? And so I just was like telling people that my name was Skoobie. And I'm just like, that's my dance ego. What is it called? Alter ego, right?
Yes.
That's my dance personality is Skoobie, right? And so I get to just kind of depart from Earnie and just say Skoobie. I really just started it, and people started being like, oh, okay, interesting, and I just kept it going.
Does anyone call you that exclusively now? Any friends, families, co-dancers?
Yeah, mostly dancers, which is
Okay.
cool. And it's kind of cool too because it helps me kind of brand myself as a dancer, but also as a dance coach, and it's like that connection. So
Do you have any way that you turn your alter ego off and on or activate it? Like for me, I feel like there's a very specific version of David that does the podcast. Mm-hmm. And so all these lights, I never turn them on until about 20 minutes before you arrive. And I feel like, okay, podcast David is awake. Whatever the other version of David is, he is asleep now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that?
I think a little bit. I'm still developing that, I think. It's just my dance personality. It's goofy, it's playful, competitive.
Yes.
I like dance because there is a competitive context to it. So like they're called Jack and Jills, and mostly in Brazilian zouk, but bachata and salsa. Sometimes they have like Jack and Jill competitions where Jack and Jill is like the leader and the follow. You get matched up randomly with a follow or lead. You have a random song, could be slow, fast, or whatever, and you have to dance together. And you're both being kind of rated and judged individually. And so you'll kind of, to win the competition, you get these different rounds, and you just dance with a bunch of different people. So when like being a basketball player, I'm like, I loved the social aspect of it, but I'm like, I need to win something. Like it's so annoying, but it's like, I have been retired for too long. Life has been boring. Now that I found dance, this is how you guys keep me. I need a competition. I need strategy. I need something to practice for a reason, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, Scooby turns on when I'm just feeling myself and kind of getting into my dance profile. I never saw myself as a dancer. Always have fun, dancing to music out at the clubs or whatever. But the dance that I do is like partner dance or social dance is different from just kind of grooving to some music. So yeah, that's my Skoobie.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. When I first turned 21, I grew up in Northern California, and there is a little bar out there that did country music and line dancing every Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And if you got out there at like 7:30 or 8, they would give you some free basic line dancing lessons until about 9 o'clock, and then it would just turn into like a normal club scene.
Yep.
And so me and my circle of friends at the time, we got big into line dancing to a point where a couple of us actually got pretty decent at it, and we could keep up and looked like we knew what we were doing to a certain extent. And I miss those days a little bit. They were super fun.
I haven't done line dancing yet, but I want to. Have you done it in Austin yet?
Not in Austin.
Come on. Okay, we gotta go together.
Okay, I'm down. Let's go. Let's
we gotta go. Yeah.
I have a picture to show you from way back in your past.
Oh, come on, not Google. They have the worst pictures.
This one is not from Google.
Oh, okay.
I believe this is you.
Woo! That is me.
There's baby Earnie.
That's my favorite picture. One of my favorite pictures. That dress is it's funny because I feel like a lot of African American young baby girls had the same like red dress and a little white bonnet back in the day. 1987. That's awesome.
You were born in 87?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So was that. When's your birthday? Actually, I might know this. Let's see how good or bad my research was. Your birthday, if I had to venture a guess, is April 26th?
Yes.
Nice. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm right behind you. July 30th. I'll be 38 as well.
Ooh, okay,
So
cool.
87 babies.
Sweet.
What's your, obviously, I'm sure just like I don't have any memories from when I was a baby. I could not remember something from when I was that age. But if you go back like as far as you possibly can, what's one of your earliest memories?
That's a good question. Earliest memories as a kid. I remember, you know what? It's interesting. I remember being with my mom and her teammates, like being in the gym that they played in. It's called the Coliseum in Hays, Kansas, and I have her jersey. I just emptied a storage.
Heck
She
yeah.
passed away some years ago, but I just emptied a storage a couple months ago, and I found her white jersey, and I had her black one already, so I love it. But this Coliseum, where it's basically like the Irwin Center or gym, a Moody Center, they played in, and I just remember being all over the gym because she had me when she was in college. She was playing on the team, and I just remember being in that gym. And so that it's not specific memory, but it's like that gym is very specific in my memory. Like I know what it looks like, with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how my first backyard was growing up. I don't remember like all the exact backyard, but I just remember me and my siblings spent so much time playing back there, and I can remember like swimming and being on the swings. But yeah, it's a little foggy. Speaking of your mom, here's another picture of you.
I love it. Yee.
How do you know how
see?
old they will? And it's also will be in the YouTube
Cool,
version.
cool.
So if you flash over, if you're on Spotify or Apple, you can see it there. If you had to guess, how old are you in that picture? Do you know?
I don't know. Let me see.
Probably. I'm so bad guessing kids' ages. Under 10, right?
Yeah,
probably
for
like
sure, under
7, 6.
Maybe 6, 5, 6. I'm thinking 5, 6. I have no clue. I have this picture. I don't know what it was back in the day where like they would put pictures on like this fake wood.
I noticed the border.
Like,
yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know, 5 or 6. I'm gonna have to. I'm interested in knowing what my partner thinks about this, because she's got a 10-year-old, so we'll see.
Here's another picture of you when you're a little bit older, having some fun.
Ooh. Age?
Teenager, maybe? Or not quite?
No, I was pro. I would work these camps probably like 24, 5. 24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here's what I'm curious now where this one is in the timeline. If you're older, I think this one you're probably a little bit older. Here's a very different picture of you, a very different version of you.
Oh yeah. This is 2013 in Sweden. One of my best seasons, by the way. How old was I? Yeah, 25. I think 25, 26.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool.
So going down this memory lane, the question that I asked you over email, and I might change the wording a little bit because I say it differently every time.
Yeah, that's cool.
As you think about, if you think about your life as a book and every day is a single page of the story, is there any particular page from your younger years, or really any time, I guess, that really just gives the audience a ton of context as to who you are today?
Yeah, I would say there's a few pages, but from my younger years, I would say 20. I was maybe 21. Had just graduated from UT and trying to figure out what I was going to do next. I've always wanted to go pro, so that was always the thing and the goal. But I think I was at a crossroads because I had this freaking knee thing going on with my left leg, some adductor issue, and I was like, dang it, should I go or not? And I was really like, it's weird to look back and think like that I was at that crossroads. And it wasn't about not playing, but it was like, should I go? This is the first opportunity to go anywhere overseas.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, my mom helped me, and she was like, well, you might as well go. This is what you've been wanting to do. And you might as well go. This is what you've been wanting to do. And if things don't work out, if something happens to the knee or you don't like it, come home.
Yeah.
I was like, duh.
It's such simple, but such good
like,
advice.
Stop tripping. Get out of here. Yeah. So like, I think what really scared me and like, it was my knee. Like I've had, having that knee injury, kind of scared me a little bit, but I went over there, got the knee healed up, and had a really fun first year. Like a rookie season. It was cool. It was in Portugal.
We'll come back to this in a second, but
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back to your childhood again, just to do this chronologically. Were you born in Kansas, or where's home for you?
I was born in Maryville, Indiana. So like my
Indiana.
mom's family is from Gary. My dad's family is from Chicago. They're about an hour away from each other. But yeah, I was born in Indiana, but was raised pretty much my childhood in Hays, Kansas, where
Okay.
my mom went to college. She went to the last 2 years of like her eligibility, like a JUCO, there at Fort Hays State University in Hays, and we just grew up there until like I don't know, I was 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I saw on one of your Instagram posts that your mom was one of like over a dozen siblings.
Yeah, 15. The baby of 15. Yeah.
So do you guys have a pretty big family? I mean, obviously she did with
yeah,
14 siblings.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I haven't even met everybody, but it was pretty big. And you know, of the 15, she had some that passed away early and stuff, and she really didn't get to know or live with because she was the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 15. It was super crazy.
Were any of them adopted, or was it all?
That's a good question. I don't think so. In a big family, you might have one or two that mom or dad would just like adopted, but everybody thinks they're blood. But as far as I know, they were all my mom's kid, and like she had two husbands throughout the 15 kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my friends back in California has 11, I guess you could call them natural siblings, and then they
Yeah.
adopted two. And I remember just thinking, why did they adopt the two? Like, I get why.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing to do. But I'm like, man, you guys just really wanted to get to 13.
Yeah, you want some more.
11
Like,
wasn't enough.
Hey, we said
Apparently.
13, so we gotta fill the spots.
How about you? Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother on my dad's side, so he has another mother. So I have a brother, and that's all I know. I wasn't very close with my dad. It's a whole story, man. Like I just met him, during the pandemic. I got in touch with him during the pandemic, and then met him like a couple years later. So and then he passed too.
Can we talk about your dad?
We can.
Why was he not a part of your life?
I don't know. I didn't get to ask. I didn't get to get time with him and ask. But I really don't know. I can't even guess. That's something that I want to know too. But my mom and him split up. They had me young. They were like 20, 21.
Really
and
young.
They were both at their first JUCO, which was in Iowa. He played football, and then my mom played basketball, and then they had me, and my mom went to another school. She went to Hayes to finish her college career. So I don't know, man. That's a good question. In my head, I make up stuff, but I'm like, yeah, like to think back of like having a kid at 20, 21, that was super. I understand how stressful it might have been. And I'm not sure if he had also lost his dad at the same time. I think it was around there. My mom was crazy. It's like my mom was so strong. She, after having me, I was probably 2, and she lost her mother. Next year or 2, lost her father. So she raised me, the youngest of the whole family, and still, raised me as well. So like, I think they had rough upbringings a little bit, or not rough upbringing, but not much support, maybe, and guidance when a kid comes in and it's like, not your freaking plan.
Right. And so since he didn't have that mirrored for him, maybe he didn't know how to.
And he's the oldest of his family too, so everybody else was younger than him at the 21 age, So he's got probably siblings in high school. What would they say? Like, how are they gonna help him?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember if you ever asked your mom about him?
I did. I think I did when I was younger, but it wasn't a deep conversation. I'm not sure how long they knew each other. Maybe just dating.
Yeah.
It's like one of those situations you date for a little bit, don't really know each other. I know they weren't like together for like 2 or 3 years, long-term couple in high school or college. So it's one of them things. It's like, got pregnant.
And then if you fast forward to 2020, did he reach out to you or did you reach out to him?
Yeah. I reached out to him. It wasn't him. It was actually my cousin, one of his nephews. And it's really interesting, man. Like, it was during COVID. I was messing with my mom's phone because she didn't have, like, Facebook Messenger downloaded, but had Facebook. And it's just, I was like, Mom, you got to get the Messenger. Come on. So I downloaded the Messenger, and, like, for some reason it said that my dad had called her, like, a year prior. Weird. I was like, Mom, Dad called you. And she was like, well, I missed it, clearly. And so from there, I started to do a little research on Facebook to see if I can find him. I couldn't really find his Facebook, but somehow I found my cousin. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, do you know who Ernest is? And he was like, yeah, that's my uncle. And he was like, who are you? And I'm like, his first daughter. I'm a Williams, hello. But anyway, and then he was like, yeah, let me call you back or let me get back to you. So basically he connected us, and man, that day I talked to my dad for the first time. Me and my mom both talked to him, and just, it was weird, but it was just like a normal conversation, and I got hooked up and connected with my grandmother, which is amazing, and his sister. So that was pretty cool. That's a pivotal day, you know.
What'd you guys talk about?
I don't know. I think we're just shooting it. I have no clue what we talked about. Just like probably what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he have a lot of questions for you about your life?
Nope. Not much. I mean, he asked questions, but we never got that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, time.
And then you mentioned this briefly, but did you guys keep in somewhat of a regular cadence of conversation up until when he passed, or not really?
Not really. I tried. I tried, yeah. Which was unfortunate, you know.
What about you and your mom? Mm-hmm. Based off your Instagram, I glean that you two are pretty darn close. Mm-hmm. What would you attribute that to?
Her being crazy. No. There's just a love. I don't know. Like, that was my best friend. We were always together. She always included me. everybody, we were what do they call it? A package deal.
Yeah.
You know, from her teammates watching me riding on the bus with them to like literally her championship game. And then like what's funny is the championship game, the girls won, right? And my picture was the one that got in the newspaper. Not my mom's photo, not the team's photo. Like team photo, yeah, but like in the picture there was like little Earnie Williams, ball girl, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, she was a great mother, you know, and she kept good people around us, and we had some great people helping us as I was growing up. But that's my ride or die. Like she looked after me, you know. She looked after me and made sure that I had everything I needed. And once she saw that I could ball too, it was a wrap. We were going to basketball tournaments and doing basketball competitions, and like she was really great with that. Not forcing me to be at a certain level or, you know, play ball, but like putting me in all kind of stuff. Listen, my mom put me in all like roller hockey. I'm like, Mom, I can't even skate. She's like, you're gonna try. I'm like, but I don't really. Fine, I try. I was just like athletic. I'll just do anything, but like it was so cool. Like some kids kind of like feel that they get forced into things, or if they really don't like to do it, they have to like stick it out, right? But I'm like, if somebody really doesn't like it, like just find other stuff that they actually like so they can stick. It's easier for a kid to stick with it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom was my road dog. She's my biggest fan, and I'm her biggest fan.
When did you start playing basketball?
I was around basketball all my life. So like being
day one.
Day one, like she had me, and she's like off to college and she's on the team, right? And I would say playing basketball, second, third grade, right? Just dribbling the ball and doing all that stuff. But actually like organized, I remember third grade, like there was like a co-ed rec team that I could start playing on third and fourth grade. That's kind of when it started.
And you never stopped playing, I would imagine, right? You probably played through middle school, high school.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what?
Excuse me.
At what point? Actually, before I ask that, what was your middle and high school experience like? Were those formidable years for you?
Middle school was like, I don't know. It was okay. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Just growing up.
Just growing up.
Yep.
But yeah, middle school, I played, we'll say, sixth grade. I started playing on a travel team called the Hayes Hoopsters. What's interesting is my, excuse me, middle school, Felton Middle School. It's probably called Hayes Middle School now. You couldn't play basketball until like 7th or 8th grade or something like that. I think 8th grade. It's just weird. But there was a small town that my mom found a coaching job at, and they could play earlier, like in 7th grade. So I went to this other small town, and I started playing with her on her team, and that's when she started coaching me, like I think 7th grade. So high school was fun. It got competitive. We moved to Oklahoma for an AAU team. So there was MAYB, which is Mid-America Youth Basketball, which was only really played in the mid-states, Texas and Kansas, Oklahoma, just in the middle of the states. AAU was just everywhere in the states. And so I was playing with the best team in Kansas for my age group, and we were at our championship tournament championship game in Hutchinson, Kansas. That's where it was always at. This team from Oklahoma came down to get prepared for their AAU nationals, which was going to be in Utah. Okay. So we're playing, and my team beats them. We beat them. We win. And like after that, their coaches asked me and my mom if I could play with them in Utah. And I was like, cool, sure, whatever. I really didn't know what AAU was. My mom said yes. We had all these conversations with the coach. this is the craziest story too, because like I went down to Oklahoma to train for 2 weeks without my mom. I stayed with the coach and his wife and his daughter at their house in Oklahoma City. We're doing two-a-days. Like, we're literally like college students playing basketball, doing two-a-day practices at 12. It was like 12 and under, so we were like 12 years old, getting ready for nationals. And whatever, I gelled so well with the girls and their parents. Dog, we went down to Utah, 12 and under, and we won. Now it's huge because it's AAU. We're playing girls from California, New York, Tennessee. We're playing everybody.
Yeah.
And I was just used to playing people in the mid-states, and we were smoking them. And the girls they're huge. They're taller than me and skinny. They're taller than me and bigger. And I'm like, but my team, we were coached so well, and the girls were competitive. Not one person was not competitive. From the last person that didn't get in and play, like if they got in, they were competitive, and I loved it. And long story short, we moved to Oklahoma so I can play with that team in the summer for the next 5 years to start getting recruited.
You guys were taking it pretty seriously if you were making state-by-state moves to get you in proximity to the right teams.
Yeah. And as a kid, I was like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I understood like, oh, college, and you can get more opportunities if you play people around the world, around the states. But I was like, oh, I'm going to get better with them, and I like them.
Yeah.
That's like the next level. And it was hard to decide because I'm leaving my friends in Kansas that were good too, but I understood after we won nationals, I was like, I want to play with them.
Yeah. What did it feel like when you were beating those other teams consistently?
Great. Yeah, it feels good because you kind of know where you are, where you rank with your team, where you rank amongst girls in the other side of the country in the States.
Yeah.
And you're understanding as the years goes on from like freshman year, sophomore year, I start to understand that we are really getting coached well. We know at 13, at like whatever, 14, 15, 16, we know the game from a great foundational place that other girls just don't get. You know, like I sense that. I'm like, they're coaching us. They're coaching us up, right? And I'm like, I'm excited. I'm just a player that loves the game, and I love to know more. I love to be more efficient. I love to be more productive, and I just want to be a better teammate.
How did they coach you guys? Do you remember if there was anything that they did, that your coaches did, that was unique to your team that maybe other teams were not receiving from their coaches?
They didn't coach us like girls. They didn't coach us like guys, right? But it's like we're basketball players. They coach us like basketball players. They weren't soft on us. They were firm, and they gave us pats on the back when we did well, you know. And they said, "Hey, you did well. You can do better, right? Or this is the right way. This is how we're going to do it as a team. You're going to be in shape. You're going to know what you're doing at all times, or we not going." And what's just interesting is that all of the girls on their team were down. It's hard to get any kind of team, young kids on a sports team, to be like, we're okay. Sign my name on the dotted line. I understand what is required, and I'm in, even if I don't play.
Yeah.
Everybody was in. That's hard. And I felt it. I was like, this is special.
Did the coaches do anything to create that buy-in? Or was it just that you guys happened to form a team of people that all just were stoked to play basketball?
I think both. I don't think it was hard for them to. So one thing they did really well before I got there was they handpicked the best girls that they thought that would fit into their system. Everybody was handpicked. I was kind of like the last little piece, which is cool to think about because they were like, let's get that Kansas girl. We're going to Utah. We're going to win this shit. I was like, that's cool. But like, yeah, I'm glad you asked that. They just handpicked every year. If there was a younger kid or someone we saw around Oklahoma, they'd offer, come play with us. you know. But we always had our core, like 8 girls. Sometimes we had like 10, 12 on the roster, and some people fell off because they didn't want to sign that contract. Like, we're going to be competitive, or if they wanted to play more, you have to. And if you couldn't, you're not getting to playing time. I understand. You have to go somewhere else. If you feel like you have to go somewhere else, but it's a mix of handpicking. It's a mix of actually having great coaches that know what they're talking about and they understand the game, men and women, but they also understand how it works for us to get recruited. They understand what coaches are looking for back at that time. And they just understood how to coach us because we were hungry. We were just hungry athletes, and I think we just all gelled because you can't, like, if you have hungry athletes but you don't have the coach to match him, it doesn't work. If you have coaches that have the knowledge that they're ready but they have athletes that are not, they can't hang, they just not ready, it doesn't match.
Yeah.
You also have to have parents that know how to sit down and just let the coaches do them and let the athletes learn.
It's a big one.
And get out the way. Sometimes, I mean, there was issues, clearly, like always, but most of the time, our parents were like great support. Everybody has a role for these young ladies to learn and get recruited. What's cool is, like, most of my team went D1. We went Big 12 when Big 12 was Big 12 in Kansas, K-State, KU, A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, where else? OSU. All of my teammates had a full ride and went somewhere.
That's so cool. So by the time you got to your senior year of high school, you already sort of knew what trajectory. I'm assuming it was out of the question. Like, you were going to be playing college ball.
For sure. And that's the thing too. Most of us had that was a goal too. So that's a collective goal that we each want individually, but we also really wanted to win nationals. Like, we wanted to kick people's butt. I don't care if you're from California. I don't care if you're from Memphis, Tennessee, Florida girls. Nobody cares about you. We're from Oklahoma. Who the hell is in Oklahoma? And it's so cool because people like East Coast, West Coast have really great players, really great coaches, and I'm like, this freaking team from Oklahoma. There's nothing in Oklahoma. Like, what is there? You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the mindset they have. But Oklahoma's kicking y'all's ass.
I wonder what that did for their egos.
Ooh, you know what it did.
Yeah, I know. I do. Yes, I do.
But that's the stuff that we love too. We're like, we're from Oklahoma. You think there's nothing down there, but we're gonna show you how to ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you were being recruited by multiple universities, right?
Yeah, we all were, but like, for sure, I had lots of choice. And as you go through college, you get more choice. You know.
Yeah. How'd you end up finally deciding on where to go? It's somewhere in these notes.
Yeah.
I should just know it because we live here. University of Texas.
Yeah.
I was like, it was UT, right? Yeah.
Yeah. My mom. Texas was up there. I really didn't know anything about Texas. I knew, well, my mom basically was like, don't forget about Texas when I was trying to pick my last 5. Because how it worked, I think it still works the same way. You got 5 colleges to go on an official trip where they pay for everything and they recruit you. You can choose. If they're recruiting you, you can choose them and be like, I'm going to take my official visit, probably over a weekend, right?
Yep.
And she's like, don't forget Texas. I'm like, okay, I'll start paying attention to Texas. Because then I was in high school and Texas was winning. Texas had Tiffany Jackson. She was a sophomore. When I was a senior, she was a sophomore in college when I was a senior, and they did a Final Four run. My mom was like, don't forget Texas, because they're recruiting you. And I started to pay attention a little bit before senior year, but I started to pay attention, and like, their whole recruiting staff was coming to see me. They were there. They were coming to see my team. There's a couple other girls, but like, they were there to see me at different AAU nationals, at different tournaments, coming to my school games, coming to my volleyball games when we sucked. I'm like, why are you here? But they had to show face, you know. We want you. We're going to watch you play softball even though you might not even be good. But we want you to play basketball first. Like, that's how recruiting went. So I kept, you know, like, if in it, that's a big thing. When people show up, coaches show up, and they actually care about you. It's a difference in recruiting. Like, it's hard for a kid to really understand that when you're going through it and you have all these people that want you anyway. You're like, who's really down for me?
Yeah.
Where am I really going to go? They're really going to get me to the player that I want to be. And where can I play, not sit the bench, and actually give impact? So Texas, my mom was like, don't forget Texas, and like ended up number 1.
Was there any big culture shocks when you moved to Texas?
You know what? For me, yeah. I just didn't know. I just didn't know how to do research, right? And so a big thing for me was like seeing the women's basketball team. So most of them were African American, and there were like just a couple white girls or Caucasian girls. And it was exciting for me because I have always been like the only black kid in the class. I grew up like this in Kansas. The only black kid, only black girl on the team until I played basketball with the Oklahoma team. There was like half black, half white, and then we had a Native American named Jenna that could ball. And for me, I saw the team and I was like, oh, cool, right? Because of like the belonging aspect and the culture. But I didn't pay attention. I thought the school was like that. I thought that it was a black school, like almost like a HBCU, right? Yep. I'm like, when I get to campus and I'm like, where are the black people? Which is like, duh. It's not a lot of black people there. But I think that was the biggest culture shock for me. But it wasn't a huge problem. I was just like, oh, I didn't really look at the school and do research. I was just so focused on what the basketball team looked like, you know? Yeah. So I think that happens to many athletes of color, but like if I would have went to a HBCU, that would have been the school. Like the team would have been the representation of the school. Does that make sense? Yes. As far as ethnicities or whatever. But yeah, it's like fine. It was just like, oh, I had this like thing in my head that it was going to be different, but it just wasn't, and it was fine. Did
you go to school to play basketball, or did you want to go to school for the school aspect as well?
Basketball, man.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be your answer. Were you a good student in college?
I was, yeah. I've always been a good student. I never like loved school, but I always understood. First of all, in mama's house, you gonna get good grades. So like, whatever, it is what it is. Fine. I'm not trying to hear your mouth, mama. So that was just the requirement. You better get good grades, and also knowing from high school you have to have a certain level of grades to get into schools. Yeah. Especially D1 schools, and at college you have to stay eligible. Yep. And it could be pretty easy to not be eligible because the big thing for me was like going there from high school is like high school you have homework every day. Like for example, math, right? You have homework every day, so you get to learn something and actually apply it. I feel like in college for me, I had all these bigger classes that were just lecture. Sit down and you listen. I'm like, or you read the big old chapter book. Yep. And then in 2 weeks we got a test. What do we even talk about? I'm like, Jesus. But I was so used to high school, like having some homework every day and being able to like learn it a second time through the homework. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that just wasn't college style, the classes that I was in. And so I struggled freshman year, and then we were able to have tutors and stuff like that. So I used my resources. So that was interesting. But yeah, I did school because I had to.
Was there any subjects that came easy to you?
Math usually. Really? Yeah. Until we get into like shapes, I'm like, I don't know. Still like geometry. Yeah. I'm like, I'm out. I don't know. Just give me like the plug and play formula. That's what I was good with. What was it? Algebra. We're good. When we go to the next level, when you got different triangles and angles, I'm like, I don't know.
If we had been in the same school, I would have been your friend because multiple reasons. I like you. You seem like an awesome person. But part of it is I was the opposite, where geometry was the one year I got it. I was like, thank God I can do this.
Okay.
Algebra to me, I was in so many of my teachers' office hours getting tutors. I had to take Algebra 2, I think either 2 or 3 times because I kept
Really?
flunking out of it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't comprehend it. It wasn't
Yeah, we
my
would have been
thing.
buds because I'm like, I got the algebra.
I would have got you through geometry. You would have got me through everything else. Not really a fair trade. I apologize, but
Man, I struggled. It's interesting, but yeah.
knowing that we grew up in a very similar time, we didn't have any social media, or not as much. Maybe we had like MySpace at one point and Facebook. I'm trying to remember if Facebook was around yet when I was in was Facebook around when you were in college?
Yeah,
it was.
Freshman
Okay.
year, I think freshman year, like 2005, maybe 2004, 2000, but 2005. I think YouTube was out.
Yep.
Facebook, MySpace had probably been out a little bit, but when I got to college, I was like, everybody's like, get your MySpace. I was like, okay. So that's when I got introduced to MySpace. Twitter came out while I was in college too, but I don't know which year. But like that was the beginning, I think. Right?
I think
like
so.
social media.
Yeah.
Outside of a freaking AOL chat room.
Did you have anything that ever distracted you from basketball? Were there anything that ever? Yeah, let's just stick with that. Any distractions when you were in school?
I would say, I mean, life stuff like coming out to my mom.
Yeah.
That was a distraction because she didn't take it well, and freshman year I tore my ACL, so I didn't get to have this huge freshman year that I was like had cooked up in my head. And then like performance anxiety after being able to heal and play sophomore year on, just performance anxiety, like my own pressure on myself, and that's really started to kick in closer to senior year because I was like, okay, what's next? I want to go to the WNBA.
How'd you come out to your mom?
I told her on a phone call. I was just like in the dorms, and I told her on the phone call, like, I just said I like girls, or I like women. And she was like, no, you don't.
No, you
And I was like, yeah, wait, yes, I do. I'm already confused. Stop. But I'm like, yes, I do. How are you gonna tell me I don't? Wait. But that was the beginning of a rocky relationship between me and my mom after being so close for a long time. And yeah, we really didn't get tight again together until I was out of college. I had played a couple years pro already, so like maybe 23, 24, she was coming around to it. Like this, it wasn't a phase. This is just me. I'm still Earnie, right? I'm not like I think one of the things for her was like, because I'm in college and I'm a freshman, am I being influenced? And it's like yes and no.
Yeah.
So yes, because I had teammates that dressed a certain way and they also like women, and I was more free to be myself. I was like, I'm not the only weird one or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't think I really had friends that had come out in high school, and it just wasn't something I wanted to do in high school. I wanted to wait until I was out of, my mom's house and able to be free, like not just do what I wanted to do, but like not have to live with that disappointment and how that is if you were to live with your parents and they don't like your lifestyle, or not even lifestyle, but just like who you decide to love.
Yeah.
So yes, meaning I felt more comfortable, I felt more safe, and I felt more accepted with the team and that I had. And then No, because this is me for as long as I can remember. I just never, as a kid, you don't know until people start making it a deal of like, oh, that's wrong. And you see how people talk about the community, LGBTQ community, and you keep it to yourself, until you feel like there's a safe moment. I felt like my safe moment was going to college, getting out of Oklahoma. my mom moved to Texas because we had friends here that lived in Pflugerville, it was great. It was great to have her close, but like, yeah, it's safer to be out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you react to your mom's disappointment at first?
It hurt.
Yeah.
It was hurtful. That's my person. That's the one person's opinion that I cared the most about.
Yeah.
I told other friends first, and they're high school friends, and they're like, "Girl, we been knew that."
Yeah.
Like, duh. I was like, "Oh, okay." Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the party.
Like, yeah, I was last one, and acting like they were gonna feel a certain way. But no, none of my friends. They always like, "Okay, and did you tell your mama yet?" Like, no, I didn't. Don't say nothing. We were all scared. But yeah, so I forgot the question.
How long was that on your mind, your mom's disappointment? Like, did that take you a couple months to sort of get over? Or?
It was, yeah, it took us years. It took us years.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was a huge sore spot my freshman year. I was in total depression mode because new girlfriend, relationship issues, and it's my first girlfriend and relationship, falling hard and all the things. Mom doesn't like it. I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
After I was going to be in the starting rotation as a freshman. That's huge. And I'm like, everything is going to shit. I don't know if you can cuss. I'm sorry.
You can cuss as much as you want. Okay. Everything's going to shit.
Everything's going to shit. And I can't eat. And like, I can't play. My mom doesn't. We're not talking. And I can't play ball. It was a lot and the new life of a freshman college student, period. I still gotta go to class. I still gotta get these grades.
Yep.
Crazy.
What'd you do? How'd you get through that time?
Well, I didn't eat. No, I had trouble eating. I actually I was struggling. I told one of our trainers that I just wasn't doing well. And I think I probably told her what was going on, about all the things. And, when you're a professional around athletes, you understand that life happens. And the freshmen, right? They were just taking care of us. So I told her, and I got a therapist. And I started to do my own therapy and go do that. And you just keep going. You just keep going. So I kept going to class. I kept going to practice. I wasn't practicing, but of course you had to still be with the team, and had my surgery, got through that, and then just started the process. I did that. I understood the ACL process because I tore it freshman year in high school. So I understood that. I was like, I don't want to do this shit again, but at least I know I'll be okay. It's just annoying, and it's like not the best time. I just got my start against Duke, which was back in the day was huge. Like they were like top 5 team, and we were gonna win that game anyway. We're not gonna go too far back. Not gonna go too far, but you do what you can every day, and you ask for help. And I was so blessed to be in a mindset and around people that I felt safe to help, and I just said it, and things kind of, they took their own turn. They moved forward, but I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I don't know how I even was able to say, hey, I need help. Depressed, can't eat, came out to my mom, didn't go well. I need help, so I don't continue to spiral. A lot of times it's just hard for people to do that. But I think the big thing why I was able to do that is because I had people around me that I felt safe with.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have said anything if I didn't feel safe. And it was that one person that I felt safe with that actually did something with the information, and they set that cycle together, got me therapy, and we just started, you know. And it just talking to somebody does a lot. Being able to talk about your problems, that's therapy. It's like you just pay a person to hear about all your stuff. Sometimes it's all you need.
It's funny. I really need to do some like reading or something as to why it makes us feel so much better to talk about stuff. But it's almost just like saying it out loud, getting those thoughts that you've never said, and then saying them to another person and seeing their reaction just in and of itself can feel like 100 pounds just came off your back. And that's sometimes just like all you need, just to feel like you can breathe again and keep taking those small steps forward, like what you were saying.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I have therapy now. And I remember like some years ago when I was doing therapy specifically for my mom's passing and trying to get over that, my same therapist was like, okay, so you're doing well. I think we can go down to like twice a month. I was like, no, we're not. You're not trying to, how are you going to try to break up with me? Yeah. We're doing good and we're going to keep doing this.
We're increasing our cadence.
This is training, okay? I need this I need to tell you something happened crazy every week. Like, we can't take no skips, no days off. But it is really, it's helpful. Yeah. It's helpful because you got to get that out. Like, even if you just journal it, I journal a lot. And sometimes, like, you don't want to have to tell your partner or friends your crap all the time. Like, that's not their job, right? And, like, pay a therapist to actually help you get the tools that you can start using when you don't have them, you know?
Yeah.
So.
How'd you and your mom's relationship, when did it start to get better again?
You know, interesting. When, I can't remember the, like, year.
Sure.
I was playing ball. I was kind of still third or fourth year overseas. I was home for the summer. And things were rocky. I think I didn't share stuff. I didn't share normal stuff like what a daughter would share with her mom, you know, or a parent with a child with a parent, doctor's appointments and just stuff like. And that I think she understood that I was protecting myself. And then one morning I would stay with her in the summer because like I was only here for 3 months, and then I'll be overseas the whole year. But I think she felt it, and one morning she just kind of broke down, kind of like in tears, and she was like, "I'm sorry." You know, and we just kind of sat down there, and she was referring to how she reacted with me telling her that I was gay and just all the drama that we've been through. And she apologized, and like I was waiting for that. I needed that, you know, to allow me to feel accepted by my mom, my favorite person in the world. I didn't feel accepted by her, but I'd felt accepted by everyone else as far as my team and people that were close. And then anybody I didn't know that didn't accept me, I didn't give a fuck about anyway. Yeah. You know? But it's like my core people, but then my core person didn't. And it's rough, it's tough. Yeah. Because you have to to keep you safe, to feel safe, protected, you have to keep certain parts about your life away from whoever doesn't accept you, you know? And it sucks when it's like your parent and you actually have a good relationship with your parent, you know? Some people don't, and it's understandable why they function that way, but we did have a good relationship, and it's that one thing, so.
And how did you react in that moment?
When she
broke down that morning? Were you expecting it all?
No. I think I was probably getting ready to go practice or just shoot on the way out, like moving quick one morning. She was on the couch. But I saw, like, before she even said I'm sorry and started to tear up, I just noticed a different mood on her face. you know. And like when you know somebody and something's wrong, you can see that on their face.
Yeah.
I saw that, and then she kind of broke down all that, and I was like, I felt like this wall come down for me, and I just sat with her on the couch and we just talked, and I let her talk and you know see where she was at and what she was referring to specifically, and she started to say she was sorry for like you know how she treated me and all the things, and that was the first moment of like, okay, I think we can turn this around. Because I was preparing to not have my parent in my life, my only sole parent in my life. I was in college. I prepared for that.
You thought
I prepared my heart for that.
You thought you guys were going to keep drifting further and further away.
This is me. This is a big part of me. You
right.
know? I prepared to like distance myself, and which sucks. And I think I was so relieved. I'm like, okay. I don't have to do this. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then we started having it took that much time to get to that point, and then it took some more time for girlfriends to come over. And then she's like best friends with girlfriends. I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me y'all was cooking? They hanging out. I'm like, y'all not telling me nothing. Annoying. Which was great. Like it's and a testament to her as a parent of like reacting how you react, right? And then saying sorry and then changing it. And we're doing the work on yourself. Like I don't know what exactly she did and what made her change. Because she was going to church. She was always going to church. But, like, in the black community, the Baptist church, Christian church is like, they don't look, it's not good to be, you know, gay or lesbian.
Yeah.
It's really shunned. And so I don't necessarily know if it was church that helped her turn around, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is I would love. I wish I could have asked that and talked more and had time, but whatever she did, right, and she put certain views aside to have that relationship with me and to work on it. I appreciate. There's never, for any parents or anybody that is in this situation, right, or with their reaction, there's never a time. It's never too late if you want that relationship to actually be good. Just any relationship, any issue, there's never a wrong time. Like if you want that, somebody's got to say something.
Yeah.
You know.
When was she diagnosed with cancer?
2021. 2021, I mean, in May. Oh, it was in the beginning of May. Yeah.
How long was that fight for? Do you recall?
She had like, I would say 2021 at the beginning, January. It was very quick. But knowing how cancer works, a year prior to that, in 2020, the summertime was hot as heck, and she was cooking in the kitchen, and I was sitting on the couch, and I looked at her. I looked in the kitchen. I was like, "Mom, are you tired? Just come sit down or take a break." I saw something in her face that made me like, "You look tired." And then like 1 or 2 minutes later, she's walking out of the kitchen, and she just face plants. This is like the worst feeling ever. I was so scared, and she passes out. And I go over there, and I'm like trying to shake her. She comes to, and I call my girlfriend that lived like 10 minutes away. I'm like, "Mom just passed out. Get over here." Click. But she came to. I got her some water, cooled her down, and I look back, and I'm like, that was something. That was a cancer thing. Not just because it was hot in the house, but that was a thing, because we found out she had a heart issue. She was starting to have multiple myeloma, which created this. It's a blood cancer that created this protein. And the protein went to her heart, and it started to just thicken the heart. And so when it got too thick, it couldn't really pump. Like it could bring, I guess it could bring like blood in, but it couldn't pump it out correctly. And so by the end, her heart was bad, and so she had cancer and needed a heart transplant. But I think at that year point when she passed out, I think that was an issue. There was something going on that we didn't catch. And then the next year came around, and she's having breathing issues starting in January of 2021. January, February, March, she's going to doctors. She's going to her like PCP. She's going to what's the lung doctor? I don't know what their name is, but she's going to someone for breathing, right? And she comes back with these puffers. I'm like, okay, is that it? But then she's just getting worse, and she's having trouble breathing at home and coughing, up stuff from her lungs. We finally get pushed to a heart doctor, or no. So I go to on my birthday, April 26th. I'm in Cancun, and the last day she calls me, and she looks so scared on FaceTime, and she's like, "Hey, I'm not feeling well," and her legs were swollen from the knee all the way down, and she refereed. She's very active. It wasn't like she fell, rolled something, need to sit down. No, it wasn't that. It was something bad, and so she looked so scared. I've never seen my mom scared. It was in her eyes, and she's like, "I'm gonna." One of her coworkers is gonna take her to the hospital, and I was like, "Okay," but she got to the hospital. She got like a checkup, and I'm still in Cancun, and we have 1 or 2 more days there with my current girlfriend, and my mom says, the doctor says I have a heart condition. I was like, okay. So come home. She's in the ER. She stays there, and I go get her. So they gave her something to get the fluid out of her body, and that was like a Sunday. Wednesday, we had to go have a checkup with the heart doctor that was on call, that kind of made the diagnosis. And then he tells us that like she's got something that it's not good, and you don't want to have. Not necessarily that it was fatal, but this is not good to have.
Yeah.
It was called amyloidosis, like amyloidosis. That's what it looks like. Basically, it's a hardening of the heart, like a heart issue, but it was caused by cancer. That's the underlying issue that I think we found out that day. Like it's caused by cancer. And then there was like a month of May that we're in and out of the ER because she couldn't breathe at home, and they would send her home and all that stuff. Finally go to the doctor, like the 4th time in the ER, man. 3rd time or 4th time. She had this procedure scheduled with her heart doctor to test the pressures of her heart, right, to get more information. They called 1 week and they were like, "Oh, we got to cancel her procedure and move it to next week." And she could not breathe at home. And I was like, "No." It was like literally the next day I was like, "You guys, no, she can't breathe." So I was talking to this woman, whoever called me, and she was like, "Okay, so only the way we can get her in and have to do this procedure is that if you check her into the ER at the heart hospital on 45th downtown." Well, not downtown, but Austin. And I was like, "Okay, Mom, we got to take you to the ER." So we had to admit her to actually get some help. And if we didn't do that at that time, she would have went faster than she did.
Yeah.
So she was at the heart hospital for probably, was it a week even? I don't even think it was a week, maybe 4 days. They did some procedures, and they tried all the procedures they did was like kind of heart splints to open it up and give her time so blood can run through the heart easier and get to the rest of the body, because when the blood, all that stuff doesn't get to the other organs, they're shut down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she had to be helicoptered to. The issue for her was she had cancer and needed a heart transplant, not just cancer. Because cancer, she could have went across the street to like St. David's and got chemo and stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't really deal with people that needed transplants for any type of organ. So she had to go to Methodists, I believe, to Houston, they were known for that, cancer and transplants. So she had to get helicoptered there. She lasted for about another month throughout July, passed on July 11th, 2021. She fought. She's a fighter. She wanted to live. Like, she had so much to live for, so much joy, so much impact to give to other people. And I got down there to Houston, and like, we're like 3 weeks in, and each lead doctor of each team, so like heart team, nervous system team, kidney team, at some point through that July, the lead doctor had said something like, we didn't think she would get past the first night being here after the helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah. We caught it late.
Yeah.
I think that moment about the year before when she passed out, we could have caught something. If we didn't go to the doctor because we thought it was like just the heat, but when things like that happen, you guys you just go to the doctor. Go.
Yeah.
And she didn't pass out. Like it wasn't a normal thing for her to do that.
Yeah.
Some people kind of have things where they pass out or whatever, but it wasn't normal, and we should have went. That eats me up.
Yeah.
So.
Knowing how close you two were, what did that grieving process look like over the next couple of months?
Yeah, rough. Next couple of years. So I'll talk about when she passed to the end of the year, I guess. It was just, oh man, how do I explain that? I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't feel like she was gone. Because there's this period of time where it's like, this is crazy. It's not. This is a dream I'm in, and it's 6 months later. I have to be dreaming. When am I going to wake up? That's what it was. Until a year, at least. And like, you're looking at, I'm like, it's been a year. Okay, it's been a year. Jeez. Mom's gone. Okay, so this is real now. It's weird because like, oh, it's been a year, and now I'm like, oh, this is for real. This is it. And so for me, it was rough. It was just rough. Struggled with alcohol big time. Struggled with focus. Just rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like a couple times. Like, it wasn't rock bottom right after she passed. A year later, it was like my drinking got up to a problem where it was just trying to cope. Like 2 years in, 2.5 years, and then I finally started going dancing. I was like, I gotta stop this shit. I was drinking a lot, but still, like, I know I need to stop. It's too much. I need to do something. And I was like, let me get out of the house. Let me start dancing. Shout out to Austin Inspired Movement, baby.
Yeah.
That's my dance school. And I loved it. I just started, excuse me. I just started dancing more, being around people, enjoying the community, making friends. And little by little, like, taking time to change my life. And I've actually, I haven't been drinking since December, which is great. I slowed down drinking, but then December, I was drinking before that, but I haven't drank. But which is great because I have a partner that she's super healthy, doesn't drink, and it's awesome to be in that environment with her. And that just helped me on my process. Because I wanted to, right? I want to control alcohol. Like, it was controlling me.
Yeah.
but I was using it for grief. Like, I want to get to a place where alcohol truly is social.
Yeah.
I'll probably drink again, but I want it to be truly social. I want to know that I control it, right? And maybe I won't. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I also needed to stop drinking because of like health issues, and I just have better digestion and all this stuff. But the main thing was like, I don't need it for anxiety. I don't need it for depression. I don't need a drink because I had a bad day, or I don't need a drink because me and my partner argued. It was like every little thing. It was grief, but then it was like every little thing. My job pissed me off, and I drink, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have those moments. It's cool because I have those moments now, and I'm like, no, I don't need it. I'm about to go get a juice land.
Yeah.
Give me a bowl, baby.
Yeah.
Y'all pissing me off. I'm going to Amy's and getting some vegan ice cream.
So you haven't drank in about 6 months then?
Yeah.
Give or take. What, I know you just mentioned Juiceland.
Mm-hmm.
What, was there any other thing that you replaced it with? Whether it was drinks or like even like in those moments, what, when you either you see your anger flare up or you get frustrated or sad or any of those, negative emotions, what's your go-to now?
Mm-hmm. It was coffee, and then it was tea. I started drinking lately, lately meaning like last 3 months, peppermint tea, because I love little honey in my tea.
Yep.
But also it's like it's very soothing for my stomach. My partner had it a lot, and I'm like, I never liked peppermint anything, and gum, like I don't like it. But I drink it, and it feels so good on my stomach, and now I'm in love with honey peppermint tea.
Yeah. It's good.
Mm-hmm. So like those nice juice, like I like a sweet drink. Like if I drink alcohol, it's just a sweet drink in alcohol.
Yeah.
So I always joke because I'm like, I'm weird. Just give me something. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It could just be a nice lemonade or something. So like just a nice drink, or water, or get busy, go for a walk.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing a lot with my therapist. She's like, go for a walk. Go walk and talk to yourself.
Yeah.
I'll be walking around my job, my building, just talking shit. Good. Okay. 30-minute walk. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
And it's just finding those. That's why I love therapy, because you get to learn yourself more, learn about yourself better, and find little tools to help you cope throughout the day. And you can be creative. Like it doesn't have to be super fancy. A walk. I never walked before, and now I'm like, it can be 11 o'clock and like it has been a day already. I'm like, peace. I'm gonna go for a walk.
Yeah.
But it regulates me, right? Making sure you know who to talk to, us for friends, all the things. It's small things.
Yeah.
But you just know when to use them, and you stack them and make them normal throughout your day or throughout your week, and you'll create this, like, how do I explain it? You'll create more bandwidth for yourself. When things happen or hit the wall, you have more cushion, and you're like not already over the edge, and you're like, I'm out. Like something can happen and be like, whatever, okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I was in a funk last weekend on either Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. But what I did, I ended up waking up at like 5 a.m, and I usually always have a puzzle going right there.
Yeah.
And so I got a cup of coffee, worked on the puzzle until about 6:15 when the sun came up, went out to Barton Springs, swam a few laps, went to the grocery store, picked up some of my favorite breakfast items, cooked breakfast, yada, yada. Just basically kept myself busy doing things I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I forget what time it was exactly, but by like 11 or noon, I was like, I feel like myself again. And I do think, it's like what you were saying earlier. I almost feel like for me, if I had just woken up at 5 a.m. and stayed in bed and stewed in my thoughts, I could have felt 3 times worse by the time noon came around.
Yep.
But because I was like, all right, I'm just going to get moving with things I enjoy, and a mix of physical and, just all of it, the eating, the puzzling, it gets me right set again so I can think clearly and not be bogged down by that swarm of negative
Yeah.
negativity that's going on.
I love that. And it's like you know yourself. And
Yeah.
and what's fun is like when you have your go-to things,
Mm-hmm.
you will also create other stuff that, you know, like you want to try. Like it also kind of puts you in the I feel like it'll put you in the position of like, well, let me go try this. Like I've done a couple things that I normally like to do, and then you'll get in this good mood and you're like, let's just go do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I didn't know I like that. And you add that to your list, you
Yep.
know? That's pretty cool.
I have two posts I want to read from you. Two moments from your past.
Okay.
I meant to screenshot the year on this
I need
one.
to go back on my socials and delete some stuff. He just
There's too much information
too
on
much
it.
info.
So this one is from January 16th. I'm sorry I can't tell you the year. You might remember.
Okay.
You said, there have been many situations in my life where I thought I wouldn't make it. Flipped my car twice, totaled my car when I was 21. Depression got me multiple times after my mom passed a few years ago. But I'm here, so I know that it's on purpose, and there is a reason. I can actually say I'm mentally and physically in the best shape that I have been in for the past 3 years since life flipped me upside down. Few things that have helped me build momentum this year. Started some of these before the new year. 5 weeks no alcohol so far. 10 pounds down, eating way less processed sugar. Drinking mostly hydrogen molecular water, super clean. 2 to 3 workouts a week. Starting therapy again. Removing distractions, keeping my dreams and aspirations and my vision, stepping out on faith and belief in myself every day, my small circle of solid friends, self-care, and dating myself. There's so much in there.
Woo!
There's so much in there.
That was this year, I think.
Was that
January.
And then here's the picture,
Let me
if
see the
it
picture.
helps you remember.
Yeah, that was this year. Yeah, I remember that day because I couldn't do
Thank you.
that freaking exercise at all.
Doing pull-ups probably.
There were like not just pull-ups, but they were like you had to like
Muscle
ups.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Ew! I was like, I have to be coordinated too. Fuck, I'm out of shape. Oh my gosh! I was like, yo, I was dead too. That was a good workout.
Yeah. What gym is that?
That was Gold's Highland.
Highland?
Yeah.
I thought I recognized. I go to that one. I have 3 Golds I go to. I was like, this looks very familiar.
Yeah, that's Highland right there.
What went through your head when I read that out loud just now?
I was like, damn girl, who is that? Good
Getting
job.
after it.
You know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, I did post that, and it was I was so proud of myself, and I was like, I have been trying to practice looking back and celebrating myself, right? And so that was one of those days. I'm like, okay, I'm making changes. Because, like, I have so many goals. I'm like, but these are the small nuggets that are going to help me. And so now hearing that, I'm like, just proud. Because I forgot. But 5 weeks in, not drinking alcohol is a huge thing at that point because it's the beginning. It's just a month, right? You can, like, fall off and, like, get a shot and be like, damn it, back to 0.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I'm 6 months in. I'm like,
Yeah.
great, because that's what started it. So that's cool. Thanks for reading that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Here's another one from November 17th, 2015.
God. No.
Yes.
What? Oh my God. What am I gonna say? Okay, let's do it.
I remember the smell of the Irwin Center, hearing the crowd roar, my heartbeat as we walked through the tunnel, the look in my teammates' eyes as we danced to our introduction song. It was fun. We were a team. We believed in our coaches and they believed in us. In all caps, you wrote, it was basketball. And we played for each other and the love of the game. I miss those days. What is that moment like? When your heart's beating, you're walking through the tunnel, you're looking in the eyes of your teammates, you're listening to your song. Are you on top of the world in that moment? Are you nervous as hell? Is it a mix of all the things?
It is a mix of all the things. I'll say how I feel and then like I'll put the team in there, but I am nervous because I have a job to do,
Yep.
right? It depends on the team we're playing. And usually it is like a specific thing. I'm nervous. I'm excited. We need to get this win. I'm ready to have fun. I'm also probably freaking tired. Like, I also probably don't even fucking want to play today.
Yeah.
But, which is many of the days, like, you're just tired after practice all week, and it's like game day. I'm like, shit. Okay. But it's all the things which makes it so fun. And then your girls are there. The team is behind you, right? And then you've got the starters, and we're in this together, and we're going into battle. Basically, we're going into battle, and then you have this crowd that's there for you. Most of them when you're playing at home.
Yeah.
And then you got some haters out there that you're like, fuck you. But you can't say it because coach is like, sit down.
Yeah.
It's, man, there's nothing like that moment for me, for athletes, right? And it's just that, it's not even, the game hasn't even started, you know? And it's so fun. But what's fueling that too is the work you've put in. Depending on what game it is in the season, it can be the first game and you're like, we've been practicing so fucking much all summer, playing against each other, beating each other up, and being catty. We need to take this out on somebody else. Or it can be conference where we've been playing in the season. It's conference game. We're getting ready to play A&M, Baylor, or OU, like our top rivals, and we're going for blood. You know, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Win or lose, like, it's gonna be fun. You get to be another person. Yeah. You get to be your athlete alter ego.
Yes.
You know, I am typically, back then was more introverted, but I come alive when I'm playing and I'm in my element. You know, kind of same with dance. Skoobie comes out and it's more extroverted, more flirty, more fun, right? And just carefree. And it just feels so amazing to put all of the work that you've been doing in practice throughout the year, throughout the summer. You put it to work, put it to test. And that week prior, we prepared for this team specifically. So we taken all the things we know and we learned, but then we have this game plan that we learned 3 days ago sometimes. And we gotta go execute the play. Like, okay, we gotta get this stuff. You know, it's just, that's basketball. Like, when in college, like, you're playing twice a week and you don't have time to prepare. You prepare as much as you can in the summer to bring your X and O's up, your body, and then every week you're just working on yourself. But every week how do you say it? The stakes are, like, I don't know, leveled again because you have a new team. It's a new team. Yeah. They have a new scheme. They doing all kind of different stuff. Like, the other team was fast. This team was slower, but they're gonna screen you to death. You're gonna be running into walls this week. Like, dang it, you know? Yeah. It is just fun. It's just, the strategy is fun. Who's gonna play what? Who's doing what? And it's, for me, I know for my teammates too, but for me, it's like, I love that. That's why I love dance too, because there's a competition aspect to it. I'm like, well, what's the strategy? What am I looking for? I can't wait to train dance how I want to so I can watch film. Just weird. Yeah. Just a weirdo. Who's watching film? About to watch dance film today.
It's not. It's an obsession. It's a passion.
It's such an obsession.
I think people.
I love that.
Who was it? So someone asked me. I forget if it was at a networking event or where, but I'm completely blanking. But someone was like, "So you essentially have complete strangers over and pepper them with questions, and you have fun doing this." I said yes. Yes, I do.
Non-podcasters don't get it.
No, they
Non-podcasters, when you get your podcast, guys, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fun.
It is.
Oh, it's cool.
Almost last question on basketball, because I have to know. Mm-hmm. During those 8 years, or really any game, you're watching your teammates, you're watching the ball, You're thinking about the other team's strategy. You're thinking about there's so much going on.
Yeah.
What's actually going through your head in those moments? I'm so curious what is on your mind.
I'm in the game.
You're in the game.
Okay.
You're on the court.
Man, how do you explain that?
Sorry.
So no, this is really good. It's a great question. So I'm in the game. I'm playing. All kind of stuff is going on. And what's fascinating about basketball is that the better you get, you kind of know what's happening, and you don't have to see it. So what's happening behind you, defense, offense, you know what's happening because maybe it's your play. You're on offense. You know what should be happening when you're not looking. Or defensively, you just kind of know the more you play. But really, for me, or I'd say higher level basketball players or athletes, it's one pass at a time. It's like, I'm thinking about, it's hard to fucking, dang it, David. It's hard. It's a hard question to explain because it's like when it's like Einstein or somebody not being able to explain what the hell they're writing down, right?
Yeah.
But there's actually so much going on, but what's prioritized is, for me, I explain it as when the ball is passed, when the ball is in the air, this is where I'm thinking the most about where I should be and what might happen. Like what 3 options might happen depending on where the ball is going, depending on who I'm guarding, depending on what the scheme is of tonight's game. Or really, after we just came out of a timeout, so coach was like, scratch, all of this is not working, and we're doing this. And we're like, we didn't practice that. Okay. So there's so much going on, but it's like, you take it one step at a time. And the one step in basketball is every time the ball is passed, where do you need to be? Where's your person on defense? Where do I need to be in regards to the ball and my person in the basket? And I have to think about what could possibly happen next. If they throw it left, what do I need to do? If they throw it right, what do I need to do? And they haven't thrown it yet, but this is what I'm thinking. All right, if they throw it over my head, where do I go? What could possibly, who's back there? Oh, it's the 3-point shooter. Shit. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot going on. It's a lot, but it's like every time the ball's passed, it's just a new set of situation. It's a new situation. And you kind of like, the more you play basketball, the more you just know it automatically. Like if they pass it left, if they do this, I know I can hedge out, right? I can like kind of cheat. It's a very interesting question. It's cool to explain. Cool to explain because I like sometimes when I help AAU teams, I have to explain what they should be thinking about, and that right there, that's too much. That's too much for them because so you have to teach it in like segments. You gotta teach it. Okay, if we pass it left, this is what we're just looking at one thing right now. And just do it 10 times. So that becomes autopilot. But that's when you play a lot, and you're at and I'm not even, college is not even pro, but when you play a lot at a high level, things become autopilot.
Yeah.
And so nothing's ever the same, but you can estimate better probability of that things will happen,
Yeah.
And I love it that Kobe Bryant was one of my favorite players, and like, he said it the best. It's like he's able to play the game at such a high level that the game is slow. So like when you watch basketball, the ball's moving. It's like
Right.
stuff. Just so much of stuff is happening. That's why it's so exciting to watch. But when you play it, and the ball's pass, for me, or players, like it's slow motion because I already know. And the ball's in the air. I know where to go because I know where it's going. So as long as it's in the air, I can get there as fast as I can. But that's when you kind of think, and like, if we were to play the game, right? You're watching the game and the ball's in the air, and you were to like pause it and let it play slow, like that as the ball is passing. That's kind of what it feels like in the game. And that's why high level players are able to play and stay in the rhythm of like where they're supposed to be, and depending on all these like various situations, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, very cool. Yeah, very cool question.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, it's cool to like think about and explain, because yeah, it many times as I start to play more, the game is easier because I already know.
Yeah.
I already know what you're thinking. You just have to execute it, and I have to execute on defense, or vice versa. We all pros know. They know. We know. We've been looking at your offense and defense for the last week. We know what you're gonna run, but the game is I have to stop it. You gotta stop me. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna take 2 dribbles, but can you stop me? Maybe not. Probably not. But that's fun. Like, I'm gonna literally tell you what I'm doing, but you gotta stop it. And that's the annoying part, and that's the obsession competitor is like, I literally know what you're doing and I can't stop it.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Oh my gosh. This is a great answer. Thank you for that. You have seen a lot of the world locally, or not locally, but you know, in the US, you've been to New York, Florida, New Orleans, Alabama, Vegas, Boston, overseas, as I mentioned in your intro, Portugal, Spain, Ecuador, China, France, Sweden, Romania. As you've been traveling the world, has there ever been anything that you noticed about anyone's culture where you're like, that's really cool, I want to bring that back home with me?
Good question. I think for sure, as a 21-year-old being able to go overseas and play in Europe. Portugal was first place I went to. After that, Spain, Sweden. So number 1 from Europe is like slowing down. It used to annoy the shit out of me. Let me just tell you, spoiled American, like, okay, I get to Portugal and we have just a washer. We don't have a dryer. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like, okay, cool. We got this like little line that we had. We can just put our clothes out there and dry. But it would dry all like crusty and like, you know, weird. I'm like, ugh, whatever. Okay, stop it. It's not a deal. It's not a thing. But that's just my first year, right? 21, first year. So that's nothing. But I go to the post office. My mom sends me my first package. I got the snacks popping. Reese's, I'm ready. Like, we practiced at 10. We're done at 12, and I'm going to go to the post office. And I get to the post office, and I'm like, it's closed. I'm like, what do you mean? It's 12. It's 12:02. Y'all should be open. Like, the post office is not closing at 12:02 in the States. What's going on? So, but they told me, like, they have this, like, I don't know, siesta or something. Like, they'll close down for lunch a couple hours, and then they'll open up, I guess, whenever they feel like it. But I was like, yo, I'm starting Portugal. I saw it in Spain. I'm like, that's cool. Like, because it's just different. It's slower how they eat, and there's like 7-course meals, and that's normal when you go to a restaurant and you're there forever. And I'm like, dog, we have like 7-hour drive back to our place. Can we get it and go, right? The normal thing, we get food and go, take it. No, they sit down, and we're gonna drink wine, and nobody cares that we have a 7-hour road trip back home. We're gonna chill, and we're gonna celebrate our win. So, like, ready to, like, I wasn't used to like just chilling, going with the flow, taking your time, enjoying the meal. I also didn't grow up in a bigger family, so where like it was normal to have meals at dinner and sit down. Me and my mom, we just like watch a show, you know, eat our food, and whatever. So that in my family was not normal, but also it was extra long. Like, but it was enjoyable. And I enjoyed that part. So for the biggest thing for me is like I think Europeans and being in different countries is they move slower than we do. I believe, which is great. You have to have that balance.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. That's the biggest thing when people kind of ask me something along those lines. Like that was the biggest shocker and annoyance for me, because sometimes I'm like, we played, we won or lost. Can we just go back? But no, we're gonna chill.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. You know?
Yeah.
It's like fine, okay, I'll stay.
Do you still try to practice that in some ways today? Just slowing down?
I love slowing down. I love not having a plan. I used to be like the super planner. Like, if I'm going on a vacation, it's an itinerary, baby. Not 1 minute is lost. We are doing something for that. It was so weird, but like, that would give me anxiety when I traveled if like stuff was not working on time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is dumb. Why do I do this? And then I get mad at myself. So I just like get to if I'm traveling somewhere or airplane, I just get there early and chill. Early enough to, when I was drinking, like go have a mimosa or just watch a show and be at the gate.
Yeah.
Not like running in there, I got 30 minutes before we board and all this stress. So just chilling. I really need that. And that's peace.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you take care of yourself, is like slow things down and make time. Just make time.
Yeah.
For things that you really want.
It's funny, my one of my friends that I work out with quite a bit, I'm like you in the sense that I like to plan everything, especially if there's if I'm recording, I'll work that day out to a T, because I want to prioritize everything I want to get done, so I know I'm ready. I want to make sure I'm on time. The last thing I would ever want to happen is you're knocking on my door and I'm like, come on in, but I need 10 minutes first. Like,
Right.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
And so with my workout buddy, he is, maybe he has some European culture in him and he doesn't even know it, because if it's like Tuesday, I know I'll hit him up and be like, all right, so Thursday, I'm giving you 2 days heads up. What time do you want to go? And then on Thursday at like noon, he'll text me and be like, you want to go in 30 minutes? I'm like, dude,
I know.
there's a reason I texted you so far ahead of time so we can plan this shit out.
Yeah.
Not so you could just wait 48 hours. But I love him to death and I accept, that's just how he rolls. And we
Yeah.
make it work. And it's probably good for me to have friends like that in my life who
Yeah.
push me to be, not have the need to do everything by the minute. All right, well, before we move on and change gears to potentially my last question or sort of subject for you, thank you so much for this. This has been so much fun. What an articulate storyteller you are.
Really?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, I can tell.
Sometimes I get excited. I'm like, there's like a blacked out from the story. I'm like, what am I supposed to be talking about? No.
It happens, especially we got lights, cameras,
Yeah.
headphones on.
This is cool. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you in kind. To the audience, real quick, if you guys are listening on Spotify today, do me a favor, hit that follow button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, do the same thing. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And if you guys do that little favor for me, which will take 5 seconds of your time while you listen to this last 10 or 15 minutes, my commitment to you will be to always keep these episodes free. So there's no subscription or paywalls that are blocking you from seeing these stories. And my other commitment to you will be to keep finding amazing guests like Earnie to tell you these stories so that you can find hope, inspiration, motivation. If you're younger, maybe, help you form your own thoughts about where you want to take your life. And I will keep doing that for you. So do me a favor, go smash that button. The last thing, Earnie, I wanted to talk with you about is you are now a dance coach, a dance business coach. Where did this thought come from? Why'd you decide to go down this path?
Yeah. This is interesting, and I'm so glad that I finally found the audience that I wanted to help. And so I know that coaching is my talent and my gift, like coaching something. I've coached lots of sports with kids, with high school, with all different ages. So I know that's a talent. I have a tech background for computer science degree from Texas. Never did anything with it throughout my 8 years of playing pro. And so I love online stuff, content and platforms, and figuring out how do they work and how they connect on the back end with Zapier and all that stuff. It's interesting to me. So I was like, I found this platform called School. It's a cool community platform by Alex Hermosi and Sam Ovens, and I really liked it. And I was like, okay, so who do I see myself working with in the next 5 years or 10 years as a my audience and my client? And I knew I wanted to coach or teach in business, right? And how to make money. So that was the number one thing, is like, I want to help impact people by changing their pocket and their belief around what they can make, what kind of money they can make from their expertise or a passion. Okay, so then if that's what I want to teach, because I know the tech, because I understand some of these marketing things, right? And I want to get better at that stuff, I got to use it and I got to teach it. But who's going to be my audience? I at first I was like, oh, athletes. I want to teach athletes. But for some reason I wasn't sold on athletes. I want to get back to athletes later when I don't like need a business to work. I want to be able to give from my heart, if that makes sense, for the athletes. But I was like, who do I want to see? Who do I see myself working with? But also, who do I pair with well? Who needs this? Who needs my type of coaching and what I have to offer? And when you think about it, dance instructors, the ones that I am trying to help, are traveling dance instructors. Also, really quickly, I really appreciate dance instructors, and I feel like they are elite athletes. When you watch them train, you watch them dance and teach, and it's like they should get paid like a professional athlete, in my opinion. But we have some of the same similarities in, like, me being a professional athlete and having my income capped by my agent and the team. Whatever they think I'm valued as, that's what's on the contract. And I can never, until the season is over, raise that, right? And so also there's this thing of, like, I have the expertise, but I was not monetizing it in other ways. So, like, yeah, getting a contract to play basketball overseas is like, for a dance instructor, is getting a contract to do a festival over a weekend, right? So you get paid like that, but then you don't control that. They say, hey, we are going to pay your rate or we're not. Right? So it's kind of the same, but like a little bit different. But I felt them, and I'm like, okay, so if I had to play to make money, they have to play to make money. They have to teach to make money. If they get hurt, they don't get paid. If I get hurt, I run the risk of getting sent home. Right? So there's like similarities. I'm like, oh, I understand that. We're not the same, but I understand the issues are the same. Struggles are the same. I remember that I had a tech background, but I didn't do anything for 8 years. I wasn't learning how to code. I wasn't building websites and making more money as I am overseas with all this freaking time outside of basketball. I didn't know how to. I didn't know I should. So I think I bring that understanding and awareness to traveling dance instructors, where I can help them build the systems that they need to automate, basically, and figure out how to package their expertise in a way online that they can make more money without actually having to be in person, of like coaching, teaching a class, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, we pair well. I believe we pair well because they don't have time. Like, if they're a true traveling dance instructor, every weekend they're somewhere around the world. So really, they have like Monday to Wednesday, Monday to Thursday, where they have their own time, and then they have to be somewhere. So they don't have time. That's where I come in with the systems. I come in with the knowledge. I come in to close that gap. But they have the brand, and they have the expertise. So we're great partners in that respect for the business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was like, finally, I got it. Let's go.
Eureka,
Yeah. Man. After all the businesses and things to try, I'm like, oh, finally. I'm like, dang, that's entrepreneurship. I've like failed a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't right. But I feel like in entrepreneurship, I'm still new, but it's like when you know, and like for me, I tended to jump a little bit, jump too fast sometimes, but now I'm like, oh, it feels great, so I'm gonna stay here and let it marinate. I'm gonna work it out and make it work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Is there any common pitfall that you've seen traveling dance instructors falling into, whether that's like disorganization or they don't believe that they should be asking for the rates that they want to be asking, lack of like, is there any common theme amongst the ones that you have worked with so far, or are they all sort of unique in what they need on a case-by-case basis?
Well, there's one thing as far they're unique in what offer they should start with first if they don't have an offer. Offer meaning like what kind of program do you offer? Like a one-on-one or a small group or a community. All of those have different price points. So like a community online, you can charge $49, $99. There's a kind of mid-ticket where you can go 500 to 1,000 and do a small group, right? Online.
Yep.
And then there's the one-on-one program you can charge whatever you want, a little higher. So it depends on their brand, really, and it depends on their following. And you can have a small following if you have a really engaged tribe that they will pay $1,000 for one-on-one coaching. You can have like 6,000 followers, and if you have people that like really rock with you because you're so great, yeah, you can do that offer and you should, but it just depends, right? And so that's what is so fun for me. I get to kind of come in and look at and help them decide what's best first. But I believe you should have all those offers in a real business, and to have a funnel at least within a year or two. Like that's a full business, right? But what do you do first?
Yeah.
And how do I do it? And why? And I think it just depends on where they are in their journey. So that's fun for me. And one thing they all do is not charge enough for anything. And it just depends on where most of their people are. Are they in Europe? Are they in their home country or whatever? But it depends on things. But they still don't. They are experts at what they do. They are elite professional athletes that are coaching, performing, and competing. And people want to be like you.
Yeah.
Why are you charging $50 for this freaking full course? Stop it.
Yeah.
That's why you're not able to, not all of them, but like that's why they might be in a position that to not be able to take off when they really need it. I'm hurting. I roll my ankle, but I'm out here with a boot, still doing the class because I have to.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford not to. Like if I don't do the class, it's okay. Some other, the organizer can get somebody else to take the class, sure, and then they just won't have to pay me. But I can afford to not do it because I can't afford not to have that $3K, $5K what I'm getting for this weekend.
Right.
Stress.
Yeah.
Dude, stress. Like I remember like I rolled my ankle and I'm like, I have to play because I'm not in a position to, one, lose this contract or be sent home. If I had other money coming in, you think I'm gonna care what a coach says about, you gonna force me to play? I got 5, 6, 7K coming in anyway from this other stuff I'm doing. Send me home. I didn't have the leverage. So I'm like, a lot of athletes don't have the leverage because they're not also making other money some kind of way with the freaking expertise they got, basketball. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Or tech. Like I had a computer science degree I did nothing with. And I'm like, dude, if I could turn back the time, I would be doing some tech stuff, or whatever, coaching kids around Portugal. Yeah. Yep. But that's kind of like, I feel close to dance instructors in that way because I get it. And so where I want to help them get is to a place where they have their online business. And what's freaking cool that they don't really get, and it's like if they got it, they would be trying to get this business going because it's kind of like you're in your prime. You can do dance longer than you can basketball, football, right? Yep. But if you get hurt, you can't do anything. You can't. So they don't really, I don't think they really understand that when they go to these festivals, they're not paying for people to be there. The organizers paying for people to be there. They have used ads, they have marketed for you, and you don't have a client issue. Yeah, you don't have like, what is it called, lead generation issue, because the leads are there when you get there. They're there for you. You have a system and a funnel issue. You don't know, you don't have an offer, so you're not able to say, hey, go to my Instagram, click this link so that I get your email.
Yeah.
That's where they're losing right there.
Yeah.
They go to, and especially if they're international, they're going from Vietnam to Japan to Brazil to France. I'm like, you're losing the opportunity to keep these people in your ecosystem or in your community, because they're going to be so fascinated with you for the weekend that they got. They're like, dang, I would join whatever you got now. I want to be coached by you, but there's no offer for them to do, right? So I see that on a lot of dance instructors that have huge followings, and then some have 10K, 5K. They're all experts, no matter what level of following they have. Some people are just better at posting and some aren't, but like when they show up in person, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, I got you. I can help you, you know?
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
Yes.
I get excited,
Yes, you
man.
did.
I start rambling.
Yeah, you found your passion. This is so cool that you were able to pivot and see all those similarities and be like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, finally.
Let's chase it.
That's why I'm happy too. I'm like, finally, I found it.
Yeah.
Something for now.
Well, before I ask you this last question, if you want to hear more about Earnie, go listen to Stats to Assets. Where is it? Is it everywhere? Spotify?
It's just on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. You're the third person I've asked this to, and the first two gave me such interesting answers. I was like, I want to ask a few more people and keep getting different perspectives on this.
Okay.
What gives you hope for the future?
You know what? A lot of stuff. You brought something up earlier in the conversation where I had a wreck at 21. My car flipped. So I get excited and I get reborn, I guess, when I'm like going through it and I'm like, I can't get stuff right and my life is not going to change, right? Whatever. I remember that moment where my car flipped twice and I totaled my car, and all like that little scar, that's all that I had.
Wow.
It was on 2222 going down, rainy morning. Crazy.
Scary road to get flipped on. My goodness.
I walked out of there with alive.
Yeah.
I went and played my best game ever, like against Missouri, but I remember that moment and I'm like, I'm still here. I'm still supposed to be here. I'm still supposed to be doing something. There's something for me to do. I need to figure that out. So that excites me. My goals of just like being free, financially free, location free, like, or what is it? Independent, location independent, being able to travel again, like I did and when I was playing ball everywhere. There's so much that I want to see in the world. And I know that I have to get money's going to give me that opportunity, but there's also so much I want to do for other people and help. And I need to have money to like create things, create opportunities for kids, create opportunities for people. There's so much I want to do. I want to leave some things in my mother's name, like foundations and stuff like that. I got to get to work, you know?
Yeah.
I have to continue to use my gifts and talents that I have and that I uncover every day to get to the purpose, get to my real purpose. I'm not living in it. I'm just kind of using my talents and gifts that I think I have right now to help other people. And that is what I know how to do for now until something else on my journey uncovers something else for me. Or a card flips over and my tarot card flips over and it's like, oh, this is next. Bam, got it.
Yeah.
You know, it's exciting to like go and find that, be in the moment whenever it comes and like, oh, this is what I'm meant for. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I just kind of like ask the universe every once in a while, like, show me what I'm supposed to be doing, because I want to do that. I know it has to do with helping people, and I cannot wait. Like, I'm doing it now, but I'm like, is this my purpose? Probably not, but it's getting me there. It's uncovering.
Yeah.
You know, the treasures that is somewhere, and I'm uncovering it.
Yeah.
That's what excites me in continuing my mother's legacy of, like, just being a servant. I learned so much after her death about who she was to people, who she was as a friend, who she was as somebody in her church, who she was as a co-teacher, who she was as a teacher at her school for middle schoolers, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, who she was to the parents of the kids. So, and she had this classroom with the co-teacher that they didn't teach a subject. They taught kids that had learning disabilities or rough home situations. And after my mom passed, to hear about kids that were in college that were torn up about her passing. You know, they're in college. They're in, like, New York, sending me a Facebook message. And I'm like, yes, that's my mom. Like, that's crazy. Like, I knew she was awesome, but, you know, like, when you just, that's just mom.
Yeah.
No, that's Miss Holmes to people. That's Coach Holmes to other people, you know?
Yeah.
Really so proud of her. And just want to keep on, I want to live in her legacy, and I want to, I have big shoes to fill. Like, she's such a servant, and I want to do the same stuff, man.
Yeah. Ernie, this was so cool. I've been thinking lately that if I had some superpower where I could snap my finger and change something in the universe, what would happen if we could automatically upgrade every single human's confidence by a level?
Oh my gosh.
And you are just this shining example of a confident person through your whole journey. We didn't even talk about your injuries. We didn't even talk about your podcasting journey. We barely scratched the surface. And just who you are sitting across from me is just a shining example of what I think everyone needs, of just not going through the motions of life of, like, all right, I'm going to graduate school and then I'm going to work this 8 to 5. And then before you know it, you're bored out of your mind and asking, like, what am I doing with this life I've been given? And, you know, I'm not necessarily encouraging people to, like, quit their day job, but you can be doing what I'm doing right now, which is working a 9 to 5 and then doing your, whatever that thing is on the side, where, you know, like, this is what fuels me. This is what wakes me up in the morning. This is where I get my drive. This is what puts a smile on my face. And so just thank you for everything that you are, and just for just being such a confident person. It's insane. I'm, like, sourcing energy from you as we've had this conversation, and feel like my own confidence was leveled up. So you're such a treasure to the planet. Thank you for being you. I really appreciate it. And this has been so much fun, and I hope we meet again.
We will meet again.
We will meet again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man.
All right, Ernie. Awesome. Well, let's get you out of here so you can enjoy the rest of your day. To the audience, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye
everyone.
Guys.